In 1927, Mayerthorpe was incorporated as a village. 75 years later, residents and returning residents were asked, "What do you think of the town now?"
My impression of the town now seems to be a lot more cowboys around now. Everybody seems to have a lot more spare time and disposable income, and they can afford to ride horses now rather than work them. I suppose there were just as many cowboys around then, but I think they were called farmers in those days.
Well, I think Mayerthorpe has become a busy little town. The buildings have changed, sidewalks especially. The buildings have had new fronts and repairs along the way. Although some of the old buildings are still there, they've changed. The street is much busier. The barn is gone, and of course that is the truck route now that comes into Mayerthorpe.
Well, the entire town is quite a bit more modern than it was at the time that I arrived. We have new facilities in terms of schools and new facilities in terms of hospital, paved streets, a hugely expanded residential area that just wasn't here back in 1972 or 1973.
I remember a lot of closer-knit families than there are nowadays. The children seemed to require less parenting at school than they do now. And I think that's come with a lot of changes in society in general.
Yeah, Mayerthorpe has definitely changed over the years. I was away from the town for close to 30 years, I guess, and returned a few years ago to operate the funeral home. And well, just where we are now was Ginger's field. You could see Ginger's house immediately behind us, and as a kid, this was where we'd ride the horses with the Ginger kids. So I guess coming back and living now on Ginger Avenue makes sense.
The town of Mayerthorpe has a lot of newer buildings in it. Population seems to be a little bit more mobile than it was in the earlier days. A lot of people rely on work at Blue Ridge, as opposed to there's really nothing right in town here that employs a lot of people.
Well, I think that there aren't as many of the younger people staying in the community, and just because of economics, and it's harder for younger people to stay on the farm nowadays. So people tend to have to leave the community to provide a way of living.
I think that the town of Mayerthorpe is actually attracting a lot more senior citizens than did in earlier days. There are fewer young families moving in, and as I said earlier, a fairly more mobile population in the school than we had in years past. There's a lot more children coming and going each year than there used to be.
I like it because you can go around and say hi to everybody, and you don't have to worry about like kidnapping and crime because everybody knows each other, and everybody tries to do their best to help out the community.
To me, Mayerthorpe is a great place to live. I moved here after coming here in the 50s and stayed here, and I enjoy working here and living here and all the people here.
I think it just seems less, it's not as lively. It seems like there's not as many people. I think that maybe there's more businesses struggling. I think it's just generally less vibrant, I think.
It's a really neat town. You can walk around and say hi to whoever you see, because everyone knows you pretty much. It's kind of like a great big family.
I think it's good because we got lots of parking lots, got grocery stores, hardware stores, entertainment, recreation, got hotels, lots of houses, a good school.
Well, it's to me, it's very progressive. I've seen, of course, gradual changes, and I think it's certainly well balanced. You have a wonderful hospital and all the supporting senior housing. I think it's wonderful, and there's many people here that have lived here practically all their lives. I think it's great.
I also like to go to the parks and play lots because there's lots of them.
Oh yes, we've lost a lot of our stores that we had. So there's not near as much going on as there in town as there used to be. Mind you, the residential part has improved quite a bit.
What do I think about Mayerthorpe? Well, right now it seems like a little community and nobody really seems to know too much about it. But like, I think it's actually quite a cool little community because I mean like it's got your your shopping places, like Sensations and everything like that. And then you've got a couple restaurants like Bentley's and the Burger Baron and stuff like that. So I think it's a fairly good town.
Well, Mayerthorpe's, what is it, 1,700 people, 1,700. It has grown more, and all of that south of the new town site, down where the motel is, and from south from there, has grown up. I used to ride my bicycle over the new streets in Mayerthorpe. They had sidewalks and streets, and I could ride the bicycle. That was after 1969. And we used to think, well, there'd never be anybody there, but now it's all built up. And all of that land that they got ready for the town has been taken up. So it's grown quite a lot in the last 33 years.
The town was a lot smaller. The business section, Main Street seemed a lot bigger in those days. Main Street seems to have shrunk a lot. The co-op's brand new. Used to pack bags in the co-op. My old Beaver lumber store is closed down and moved on. Doug's tire shop is still there, the building anyway. The swimming pool seemed to be huge in those days, and it's not really that big now. Schools doubled in size, and the fairgrounds are absolutely beautiful. I remember back when they just had the old barn there, and that was about it.
It's worse for shopping, that's for sure. We've got better grocery stores, bigger ones now than we had. But we got a liquor store now, which we never had before, but that seems to be the most popular place in town.
I think it's all right. It has all the facilities, the hospital.
Oh, okay. Well, that's okay. 4 or 5.
The lodges and
great.
extended care.
Yeah.
For older people, it's
My school is very nice. It's very small, but it's a very nice school, clean, nice and tidy, and people might think that school's very small, but when you look at it in the inside, it's very big.
The school is good. The teachers are good. You have lots of friends here, and so it's not like a bad school.
It's a great school. It's very clean. The whole community is pretty clean. That's great. And got great people, great teachers, and
Well, from what I hear from my teachers, it's a little bit on the larger side, and I think it's quite tidy and neat, and the teachers are nice and everything. But I mean, like, I've never really met a kid that ever really likes school, so I can't really give you too much there. But like we got a library and everything like that, so I think it's pretty good.
Actually, the school's quite nice. We had our students' union meeting today, and I like it. It's a nice community. It's a nice town to live in. Not like any big cities when there's robbing and stuff. This town is just nice.
I have certainly the community has changed, where I think as far as towns in rural Alberta are concerned, we're very competitive as a town, and I say that from my councillor's hat that I also wear in the town of Mayerthorpe Now, and Mayerthorpe steadily not grows in great spurts, but it remains consistent. Our main focus is on providing a dwelling place for so many people, and with the twinning of the highway now, which at one time I recall certainly it being just gravel, and when the highway ran, to the north of where I am now, and now it's in the south. So certainly there's a lot of changes still that can happen in Mayerthorpe, but it's only changes that you'd find happening anywhere in rural Alberta.
I think it's a good town, but I think there's also some bad stuff about it and other stuff. And I think that it probably could improve in the future.
It's a very, very safe community, so you can always be able to go to the park and have some fun without worrying or like you would in Edmonton.
Lots of things to do in this town. Some people from like bigger cities might think, oh, this town is boring. Look, it's so small. But really, it's not. There's lots of things.
It has changed beautifully. It has changed from a muddy, little teeny community to a beautiful, friendly place to live. I don't think there's any place in all of Canada that I would find that I could get the friends and the convenience that I get in Mayerthorpe.
Oh, I think it's a nice little town.
We believe that the town has a lot of potential insofar as developing not only what we have, but also improving upon our infrastructure and attracting outside investment to help us along as the town moves towards